Welcome back to the Blissful Badger. In February of 2025, I made a video about my Warhammer Quest collection and whatever happened to my plans to work through all of them, build them up, paint them, and get some games in with them. With that video, I showed off my building of Warhammer Quest Cursed City, and I made my plans from there on how I was going to paint them and get them completed. And I left off with stating that I would like to get them all painted by the end of 2025. Well, this video is coming out on the last video for 2025, and I can say I did get Cursed City completed. And I made a statement saying that I doubted they would get another Warhammer quest before I was done, and I guess I was wrong. We did get Darkwater. I did not purchase it, but that's because I still have 2 of these 3 boxes still to work on. So for Cursed City, I said I wanted to work on a Zorn palette mostly, and I also challenged myself to paint with just 1 brush. So throughout the 60 models, I decided to use Iraqi sand, golden yellow, gold brown, red, hull red, burnt umber, black, silver metallic, and then for the hero characters only, I decided to add some royal blue so that they would stand out. And I did it all with this size 1 round synthetic brush. This was part of a 5-pack that I bought for $3 on sale. And if you notice, there's still a little bit of life left in this brush, but it took quite a beating over 60 models, which, not bad for a single synthetic brush. And I'm actually going to store that in the display cases with the models. And speaking of models, here I have my heroes. And I like how this color scheme came out. I did some of them earlier on. So we have a little bit of blue in the beard and also on the staff. And the dwarf got a little bit of extra detail with the blue, with the jacket. Again, I wanted these to stand out a little bit from the rest. And I think overall, they're pretty nice. I'll take closer up pictures of the rest. I think that'll be a little bit better than working my hand in the shot and trying to get it all in focus and everything. So there should be pictures going on right now of all of these. And I'm quite happy with how the heroes came out. And then we have all of the swarms. And wow, there were a lot of rat swarms and bats and little tokens, and I think my least favorite of all of the things to paint of the 60 models were these 2 little tombstones. Just because, yeah, out of all of them, I think that was my least favorite. Which isn't saying anything bad about them. But when you have, rat swarms where you can do all the little tail work and everything, and, their treasure chests and everything, and changing up the color of the bats so that they're not all just black. Like, there's actually different colors and everything for the bats. Those tokens were not horrible. I still added a little bit of color and everything to them. So, and then we have all of the zombies, which again, they have a lot of cool aspects to them. And I tried to vary up the different clothing that they were wearing, color-wise and everything. And I think I did a decent job on that. And I will say that the skeletons were much more enjoyable to paint up than the zombies. I tried a few different methods of getting shield colors. So some of them I did like a dry brush. Some of them I added washes in, a color wash inside to make the shield a different color. Some worked better than others, but overall I think they all look great as they were buried at some point. And then we have the enemy leaders and everything. And I had a lot of fun painting all of them. Yeah, all of these models were really fun to paint as well. I painted up all of these in a single session, and I wanted them to all match. And I think they came out pretty well for that. And the twins were pretty fun to paint up. It wasn't until the end of painting the skeletons that I even realized that this was a character, that he was on a bigger base, but it was still fun to paint. And the Shoveler and Beastmaster were quite fun. Painting up the wolf kind of with a stripe down his back was really interesting. And I had to finish off with Radakar as the final boss. So, for my stream on Friday, I painted up Radakar. And I tried to do some interesting things with his pelts, but I don't know, I think I could have maybe given it a little bit more time. It didn't quite come out the way I wanted it, but I was also trying to use just the limited color palette, and I think that might have reduced its ability to be done well, but I finally got him done. I think I like how this came out better, but I don't remember exactly how I did that. I'd have to go back to one of those older streams. I think just the fur has more texture to be picked out than the pelts did. So now that I have finished painting Cursed City, what does that mean for the future? Well, for one, I still haven't played the game, and I do want to try it out. So, with that in mind, I have been setting up my other computer, and I'm going to try to get the cameras angled in a way that I can actually set up and play on half of the table and record. So that is something for 2026. I'm going to try out Cursed City and a couple of other games that I have interest in playing. There are some solo games that I'm thinking about buying in 2026 and doing some playthroughs. I think Blackstone Fortress may be the next quest that I get painted up. There's 44 models in that, and they're already primed black, so I do have a little bit more done with that already. And I just need to figure out, do I want to do a limited color palette like I did last time with a different color selection, um, or if I want to just paint them whatever colors. But by the end of 2026, I do want to have Blackstone Fortress painted up. And might as well toss in the Shadows Over Hammerhal minis. They are already built, so I shouldn't have too much effort getting through that. We'll see. But yeah, I am thrilled that Curse City is now complete, and I look forward to seeing how the game plays.
Subscribe if you haven't so that you don't miss any future videos. I also want to thank my patrons and supporters for making these videos possible. And until next time, I hope you find your bit of bliss.